really bright, very easy to see. Uh, so I'll show that to you guys now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a website called Creative Tim, where we're going to grab a UI kit to work off of for our website. So it's loading, it's taking a little bit of time, I don't know why. It's a little odd that it looks like this, but if you go to UI kits, then it will load. Just give it a moment. Okay, this is a little odd. Shouldn't be this complicated. Let's see. Let me restart this because this is not right. This isn't how it should be looking. Something's up. Okay, so now what you do is you go to UI kits, and under UI kits, what you want to check is you want to look for a kit called Material Kit, and then you just click on that, and then you can go ahead and install it. So the way you install it is you just click on the button that says free download, and it will automatically create a zip file for you to use. So it should be working. I don't know why it's not. But luckily, I don't want that to be a drawback for us. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just go ahead and open up my Finder because I already have all these kits installed. So I'm going to go to my website, so I'm going to go to Bootstrap, and then I'm just going to open up a kit called Edited Created Tim over here. And I'm going to go to Examples. That's where we're going to go, and we're going to change the landing page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the landing page, which is inside of the examples, inside the Material Kit folder. And then I'm just going to go ahead and open it in Atom. So it's going to go ahead and open up in Atom. Alright, there you go. Now it opens up and you can see all this code here, so that's pretty cool. And now what we can do is we can go ahead and change some stuff. For example, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. So we have this title tag, which is inside of a document called HTML. Now, for those of you who don't know what HTML is, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and this is pretty much the standard language of the web. So every single website that you see or interact with on the web is written in HTML, or at least the views are shown in HTML. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that all websites are just HTML. It has other languages that are there as well. Of course, if you're working with users, then you probably have something called a server-side language, which in most websites you'll see PHP or Ruby on Rails, or you'll probably also see JavaScript these days, like Node.js and Angular.js, like all these languages that can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But for front-end purposes, we're going to be learning HTML, and we're going to be learning the most latest HTML, which is called HTML5. And now we're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on inside of this document. So, as you can see here, it says, what do you call it? Inside of this HTML tag, we have a head tag. And inside of this head tag, we have a couple of things in here. We have something called a meta-char set, and this is something called the character encoding. So like when we were looking at Atom earlier, it said the default encoding was UTF-8, right? Well, that's also the same for this HTML document, because this is the standard for all machines. So UTF-8. And then we have a couple of things here. So as you can see, link, rel, Apple Touch icon, all of this stuff. What this is right here, this is actually a picture file for the icon of our website. And then we have another one that specifies that it's the icon. So for icons, we actually have two files. We have one picture of the icon, and then we have another one that's like a filter sort of mask of this icon. So we incorporate both of them here. And then below this, as you can see, it says that content is best viewed in Internet Explorer or Google Chrome. But that's actually not the only options that you could use. You could also view this on Firefox. So this is another meta tag here that we have for the HTTP equivalent. You'll see on most websites that you'll probably see these two things. You'll see meta charset and meta HTTP equivalent. But below that, we have what we call the title. So the title name right here, it says landing page Rishav's workshop. So now let me actually show you what the website actually looks like so you can understand where this title comes from. So if I go back to my Finder here and I go to my landing page, let's say I open this in Google Chrome. Let's see if it actually opens up. There we go. All right. So this opened up. And what's going on here? Why is there no assets? Oh, this is called Tim's assets. We want to change this so then it says just assets. So if we rename this to assets, there we go. Now what we want to do is you want to refresh this. There we go. That looks much nicer now, doesn't it? So on the top left, you see where it says Rishav's Workshop. This is a brand, but what I was going to tell you guys was about the title, right? So if you actually look on the top here on the tab, you see that icon? That icon is actually what we were just looking at up here, where it's at assets, IMG Apple icon. So that is actually the icon. And then below the icon, we have the name of the title of the website, which shows up on the tab. So it says landing page and then my name, workshop. So that's what's going on. And now, after the title, we're going to be going into some other stuff here. So inside of this head tag that you see here, we have a couple of things that are being called, a couple of files. So whenever you see something that says link rel style sheet, that means we're incorporating something called a cascading style sheet or a font, either one. So in this case, we are getting a style sheet from Google via the Cloud Delivery Network for icons for this material kit. And then on the second line here, we see link rel style sheet text/CSS. So this is the type that's specified to say that this is a CSS text file. And inside of this, we see that it's also coming from Google through the Cloud Delivery Network. And below that, we also see another thing right here for Mac CDN Bootstrap. So before I explain why these are all HTTP and not local files, let me just explain the benefit of having these links rather than things like asset/CSS/ the name of the file. The benefit is that the Cloud Delivery Network doesn't take up any extra memory for your application, so therefore it's much faster to render, and it gives you a seamless user experience as well, especially when you have a lot of design elements to include. So let me explain what Bootstrap is. So Bootstrap is actually a framework that the people at Twitter created in order to make web development really easy. And the reason I say that is because in the past, what people used to do without Bootstrap was they would get their HTML, their CSS, and they would get some JavaScript, and they would create some pretty cool looking websites, but they would only be able to create it for your view on your computer. It wouldn't be mobile friendly. And when that happens, it kind of sucks, because most of the people these days, they view websites on their phones rather than computers. So in order to fix this problem, what Bootstrap did was they created a universal platform that allows you to view a beautiful looking website on any device. You can see it on your computer and you can also see it on your phone. So how does that work? So let me demonstrate. So right now what you're seeing is the view of this website on the computer. But now let's say that I want to see a view of what this would look like on my phone. So the way I do that is I just minimize this and I reduce the width. And as I'm doing this, as you can see, all of this content is condensing as I do that. So the reason it's doing that is because what Bootstrap is doing is it's changing all of that data. It's toggling all of the data that's on the website, and it's reformatting it to the amount of pixels that show up on a miniature version. In this case, the size of a phone. So on the top here, you see the name of my website, which is Rashav's Workshop, and on the right of that, you see a button. And what does this button do? Any guesses? Well, rather than giving you no context, I actually want to show you what this button is actually going to do before I click on it. So if you go inside where it says the body, oh yeah, and for those of you who don't know about header tags, you have to close the header tag before you enter the body. Now remember, the head is where you incorporate all your CSS files and all your fonts and all your meta-card sets. And in the body, what we do is we include all the content of our website.